All right, all right, all right. No, listen, I swear to God and those I love, I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to kill myself, and I will never erase this, get rid of this. This is here. This is now. Watch it while you can.
Did I do a good job of hiding? Hey, hi, how are you? My family's all out to eat. Everybody's out having fun. And I said, no, let's do a Labor Day show. Let's do a Labor Day weekend show. The freaking moron that I am. But I'm going to make it worth your while. And I certainly wanted to do this show tonight. This is the Lion's Den. I hope you knew that before you tuned in. This is where the angels and the devils fight. And they're choosing up sides, all right. Me, I'm part man, part monkey, all mystery. And the angels and the devils are playing tug of war with my personality. Now is the day to pick a side. And I think we know the side that you've picked. Okay? If you're all about this, just do it, just do it. You're on the side of the devil. I'm just saying. If you're on the side of, I heard somebody on the radio, they ought to dig trenches and shoot those that haven't gotten the, I wonder if this is going to be allowed to be on. The censorship that's going on right now is unbelievable. Well, guess what? You're on the side of the devil, friend. You're on the side of the mark of the beast. If you've ever wondered if you would know when the Antichrist came, you won't know, and you're going to hell, and you're going to be going through the tribulation. If you ever wondered, now you know. If you're on the side of freedom and human rights and letting people do what they want to do, my body is my sacred temple of God, then you're on the side of God and what's right. How about that? All right, David X is one of the most controversial guests I ever had. Not the most, maybe the most. No, not the most controversial, but one of the most. And, of course, there's always danger in having anyone on my show that isn't completely stupid and doesn't say, what is status quo? Well, why can that be? Because everything that's said is me. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. See, stupid effing people don't understand that when they hear a radio show and I have a guest on, that doesn't mean that I agree with everything they say. And it drove me quite batty since 1984, established in 1984. So in other words, if I had someone that said, God doesn't like gay people, then people heard Mancow said that. I don't think that. I don't believe it. I think God loves us. I don't believe in all the choices that people make, but that's not for me to say as a libertarian. So you have to be very careful. And I had to be very careful when I had people like David X, who we're going to introduce here shortly. I had to be very careful because what David X says is Mancow. No, I haven't seen animal-human hybrids. I haven't been to the center of the earth. I don't know that David X has, but he's seen the animal-human hybrid experiences and experiments that are going on. We're going to talk about Israeli defenses, talking with Trump about what they've seen about the UFOs. We're going to talk about alien-human hybrids. We're going to talk about the reptiles if we have time. We're going to talk about UFO bases here on Earth. And we're going to talk about me and you. Were we a seedling program? Johnny Appleseed squirting his seed, his space alien seed here on Earth. There was a religion born out of Chicago called Arantia. It's quite fun to read. It's quite nonsensical. I don't believe it, but it's fun. It's like the Bible, as I said, written by J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay. And again, I want to say this. And I just love the idea of all of these militia of love members going, you know, he said he wasn't suicidal. I'm not suicidal, and I'm not going to take this down. We are trying to spread out on many platforms as we can so that when the inevitable happens, you can't tell the truth. Mancow, come on. And again, just because I can do it now and I couldn't do it, and go to mancow.net and become a member of the Mancow Militia of Love. And in the future, we want to send you dog tags and pledge cards and all that happy horse stuff, okay? But I just want to say it. I went to see Bella Nock. Can you see his little? I went to see Bella Nock, the world's great. Let me get it. The world's greatest clown. I went to see him live. His family was part of Tommy Bartlett, whatever, in the Dells for, I don't know, 60 years. Anyway, he's a clown. He ran Ringling. He's working with Cirque du Soleil. Did a one-man show in the Dells. Had a great time. I listened to radio on the way back, and I had 6 hours in the car total. And the conservatives are angry. And they say nothing. the Dan Borginos of the world. It's all safe. Where we're going tonight is not safe. Some of the stuff I see on BitChute, not safe. The rest of it, safe. Listen, if you hear it on the radio, although I did hear General Paul Vallely, a friend of mine, say something that I won't even say here. I did hear that on the radio, and that shocked me. I did hear something that was basically said, can I say it? No, they're telling me no. My friends here are going, he's saying what it's going to take to get our freedom back and our democracy back is, well, our forefathers told us what we had to do, and he feels like it's coming. I hope it can be done through voting. But what do you do if voting's fixed? Then what? Anyway, much love to all of you from Muller Manor. If you ever get a chance to take a tour, we are going to start opening tours, and we are going to have this designated as a historical site and a museum. The wonders that are in here, you wouldn't believe. Okay, so let's go to David X. David X, welcome to the program. And we're going to do this live on Mondays. Perfect. Apparently, David X is sleeping. We're going to have to wake him. David, wake! No, I don't want to come out. I don't want to. David X, how are you? David, I can't hear him.
It's good to speak with you, Mancow.
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. All right, I can hear you now. Dare to be stupid. Dare to be stupid. It's a Weird Al song.
I can hear you now.
I can hear you now, and let's rock and roll, brother. You've been on the show many times over the years, and you have called and warned us, and a lot of what you've warned us about has come true. David, I've had to, and I'm gonna throw you a lot of curveballs tonight. David, I've been watching ABC, CBS, NBC. I know what incredible horseshit it is. I know it's brainwashing. CNN. You can hear the propaganda. Those that aren't stupid, you can read between the headlines. But why aren't I brainwashed? Why aren't you brainwashed? I mean, I'm watching the same stuff. Why aren't I saying, get the jab, do as you're told? How did it miss me? Is it because I pray and I have a force field around me, a hedge of protection from Jesus Christ? Why is that, David? Why aren't I brainwashed?
That is a big part of it, Mancow. You have protection of awakened awareness. And there are a lot of people who actually have that kind of awakened awareness. They've become aware of the influences. I was telling somebody the other day, a general in the, I won't tell you who. We were talking about it, and I said, let me show you something very simple. Liberty, 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 liberty. Now turn off your television, turn it down. You're going to still hear the ad playing in your head. You see, they know that the mind has no firewall. That's what they know. And they know that if they put a message in front of your brain and in front of your eyeballs and in front of your ears enough times, that message is going to penetrate your defenses. Your natural defenses will tell you, throw that out. Don't listen to that. Keep it out of your mind. But you know what's going to happen is most people, and especially the vaccine, it's the same thing. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. They want you to think of that only. They want you to prioritize that over God himself. They want you to put that vaccine message in your head. Now, there's a bigger overview that people have to take, and that is what's really behind the vaccine message. That's the question.
Okay.
And, you know,
listen, I don't want to get the plug pulled on us before we get started. You're
right.
going into an area that isn't worth it to me.
All right.
And I'm just gonna say, and people can be mad at me. They don't understand that immediately the censorship that we're experiencing, the minute you go into this area, let me just say this. I prefer if you just say this or did this with your hand.
I understand.
Okay. No. And the very basic point of this is not to get right.
Yeah.
Right away, they're saying that doesn't work.
Well,
that it doesn't do that. Well, then what is it? If this doesn't prevent you from getting, then what's the point? Then it isn't even the word that it's called. David, before they pull the plug on us, I want to get going a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you and I meet because you were working with the animal human hybrids? We showed some pictures earlier.
Yes.
Some of them may have been gaffes, but the basic idea is Dr. and I did a Svengoolie here in Chicago with Burt Lancaster, the Island of Dr. Moreau, which was great fun. But it's real, right? Again, alien human hybrid separate, animal Frankenstein science, animals mixed with human to create some kind of unfeeling super army, or what is the point of it?
The point of it is to rearrange the entire human being into something else. And this part of it is the transhumanist agenda. If they could take, and they already have, by the way, I've been to a place called Hell Hall, where the human hybrids are there, the animal human hybrids. They look at you through these tormented eyes. Their eyes scream at you, and they can almost speak like human beings, but there's more at play there. Obviously, the genetics have been so mangled, and
what do they look like, David?
Mancow.
You told me once they look like the movie Prophecy.
Yes.
And wait, and not the one with Christopher. What's his name? Christopher Walken that I love, but the one where the bear is mutated with James Brolin. It's a kind of a slimy, wet, gooey.
Yeah.
Human,
because human and animal genetics do not mix well. They don't mix well, especially if you do a 40, 50, or 60% mix on a human being.
Right. Now,
the things that happen are bizarre. Huh?
But you called me and you were going to burn the whole damn place down, and I could hear them, and it was a sound that my radio listeners and I will never forget. It was a horrific sound. The screams that were going on, they sounded like they were in constant pain. Are they in constant pain?
Well, yes, because they have a degree of consciousness about what's happened to them. They know that they have been transmogrified, that they have been turned into something that should never be.
The big news. The big news, and we're going to jump all over because I have ADHD and I can do that, and I don't have to rush off to commercial breaks yet. By the way, we do have people that want to advertise on the show, which is great. I don't want to do it yet until we get a bigger audience. But extraterrestrials exist. The head security people in Israel. This is news. If you're just you're out of it, you're barbecuing, you're having fun this weekend, I get it. But the Israeli space security or some such branch has said, "Oh yeah, we know all about it," and Trump knows, and you went away, David. Are you there?
I'm here.
What's this all about? Do you know anything about this, or am I throwing this on you as well?
So one of the people who was involved in the Israeli military, and especially in the higher levels of technology for 40 years, by the way, has had meetings with extraterrestrials, and he has had meetings with President Trump. That's why they started the Space Force, because whatever it is that's flying over our cities, whatever it is that hovered over the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, whatever these things are, they don't like to mingle that much with human beings, by the way. That's exactly right. They don't like to mingle with human beings because human beings have a higher consciousness than they do, but they're technologically advanced. And this is what they want. They're trying to get back a degree of awareness so that they can compete with humans. They can't compete with humans because we can spot them. We can identify them, even if they cloak themselves, even if they are able to pull the wool over our eyes and make us believe that what we're looking at is human being. Yeah. There's those of us who can spot them, especially the reptilians, okay? Yeah. We can see them. Their eyes.
Hey, David, you're saying that they walk amongst us, human reptilian
hybrids. They absolutely
hybrids.
Walk among us. They absolutely do.
Judith Regan books. I won't pull it out again. It's self-serving, but I had a New York Times bestseller. And as you know, I have a lot of information about this.
Yes.
And it just occurred to me, David X. Folks, my God, what you're going to get right now. I mean, good night, Irene. What you're about to get. You tuned in, and what is this going to be? You're about to get something heavy. David, I've just remembered something. I've told this story 1,000 times. You were with me.
Yes, I was.
No. I swear, my hand on a Bible, and I have a Bible here, but the computer's the Bible is under the computer, so I can't pull it out and swear on it. We're talking about a party called the Sanguine Party.
Yes.
Part of Comic-Con. Folks, for God's sakes, this is maybe the most, if you've listened to me since you were a fetus, this is the most incredible thing ever. And I want to share it with you now. wow. And David is with me, and you can see him, part of him. This is so incredible. So we had to get a house. I went too late. I hung out with George Lazenby, who played James Bond, and there were some other, all the celebrities there. That year was a lot of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings people. That was the thing. And anyway, San Diego Comic-Con. We got invited to a party, and it ended up being, one thing led to another. We ended up at a very satanic event, which we didn't know. And there's so much to this. This is such a tough story. This is so tough to tell, folks.
Take your time.
Well, I don't want to take my time because people don't have time, but the corpuscles are popping in here. So, God, can I start with Michael Jackson's investigator that was investigating me for a Democrat that was trying to find dirt on me to destroy my show? What was his name? Do you remember the name of that? And he was Michael Jackson's best, kind of an orange guy. And I was trying to hook up my friend Dewey with his daughter, and she was ready for some loving, and I got chocolate cake. And I was telling my pastor, Steve Muncie, one of my pastors in the past, about this. He said, well, the devil's not going to tempt Dewey with beautiful woman. He says he tempts you with a beautiful woman, tempts Dewey's a big boy, with chocolate cake. So we go to this party, and it's a satanic party. I'm a Christian. David X, I assume you are as well.
Yes.
I invited David X. I said, because he had been on my show, been great on my show. Do you want to see this? He says, yes. He travels around the world, but he happened to be in San Diego. So we went to this party, and it was a mockery of Jesus Christ. It was a mockery of popes. I'm not a Catholic, but I was brought up Catholic like many people. It was a mockery of popes and nuns, and it was sexual, and it was creepy, and get me out of here. And there was a lot of celebrities there, and a lot of celebrities I invited, not knowing that that's what this was going to be. Are you following me? And I can't say Jessica Alba, but let's say a very close representation of Jessica Alba and a lookalike. We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Not Jessica Alba, but boy, you might think it was. And she had on little black panties, assless chaps, no top, her hair down over her breast, but nothing on. And I don't know about the rest of you holy people here. You can judge me. But wow. And the music is seductive and demonic. And I mean, there's blood and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. The devil is delighted. And I got to get out of here. She makes eye contact with me. I make eye contact with her. It's on. And David X was next to me.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to get out of here. When I acknowledged Jesus Christ and I started to leave, and I want to say this to people, God always makes an exit. God always makes an exit. And by the way, if you can't go out the door, go out the window. When the devil's coming for you, don't dance. You leave. You leave. You're at a party and they're offering heroin, and that's your devil. Leave. David, I want you to describe to the people what happened to her face.
It changed. It turned into something not human. And I know that you'll remember the undulations that started in this creature. Almost a vibration, high speed vibration. And you looked at me and you said, what is going on? And I said, this is a mating ritual for this thing. Do you remember that?
Only now. Yes, of course. I've told this story many times, but I've forgotten that.
Mm-hmm. This thing started vibrating, and the vibrations could be felt throughout the entire. I mean, there was hundreds of people in this dungeon, a cavern. Steam was coming out of the walls. As you said, there was debauchery, and it was truly a startling situation. And I said, we've got to get out of here. And a wall of people opened up. Do you remember that? And we started to make our way out. It was almost like a Red Sea of people opened up, and we started to move, all of us, you and me and a few other people that were in there. And we were able to make it out. We made it up to another floor, and we were able to exit. But I got to tell you, that's the closest.
Well, I don't remember another floor. I remember various levels of this, and I remember that at that point I was ground level. But it's been years. Yeah. I want to tell what happened the next day, but not yet. I went to a barn stable bash. I think that's what it's called in Kentucky. I love the Kentucky Derby. Fred Thompson, you may remember, who was in Die Hard 2. Fred Thompson was in a lot of stuff. He ran for a government office, and he was a friend of mine. We went. The painter of light, Thomas Kincaid. One time I hung out with Smokey Robinson. One time hung out with, can you imagine this? Mancow Muller hanging out with Salt and Pepper. And I want to tell you, man, they were cool. So I went to this barn stable bash after the Derby. It's the big deal. I'm drinking, what's the great mint julep? But what's the great booze I would drink in it? Anyway, and I met a beautiful girl, and she says, it was, again, the vibration. And she said, love at first sight. She said, you don't ever have to work again. My mansion's next door. My husband passed away. I said, I'm married. I got kids. I had rented a 1930s Mercedes limousine, 30s or 40s. And she said, you'll see him on weekends. Never work again, live in a mansion, travel the world. You'll live out of a steamer trunk. Beautiful woman. And you'll see your kids on the weekend. I went, excuse me, and I ran. I'm in my suit, and I ran past some of the Fox News Channel people that I knew, and some of the celebrities, and they're laughing and, get out of my way! Get out of my way! And I jumped a limo. I go, drive, drive, drive! I don't know that I would have stayed, but my God, the devil is not going to come at you. The devil doesn't come at Mancow Muller with chocolate cake. The devil comes at me with a Jessica Alba lookalike in little black panties. The devil's going to give you good stuff. Now, if you don't have any resistance, that's because the devil doesn't care about you. If you're going through life and everything's honky-dory right now, because, folks, the devil has decloaked. Look at the news. So feet don't fail me now. And that's how I was. And I got outside in San Diego, and I called Preacher Muncie. And he goes, well, again, God ain't going to tempt you with chocolate cake. You're not a big old fat diabetic boy. And I just started laughing. So absolutely a brush with the shapeshifter, maybe reptilian, maybe space alien, maybe demonic, maybe, I don't know. I had a family member that was demonically possessed. He had taken pictures of my face and had laid them around his room in a satanic way. I don't want to go into details because it's my family. And get behind me, Satan, amen. Thank you, Jason. I see your note. Absolutely. And I'm a little boy, and the preacher, Roger Bacard, who was much like Andy Griffith in Suicide Falls, Missouri, goes, they don't want old so-and-so. They want him. I studied to be a minister. I went out into Harrisonville, Missouri, down a dirt road. And I was part of an exorcism. I was to be quiet, and all of the attention came upon me. Him, it's him. The voices in this young girl. It's him we want. We want him. They wanted me.
Yeah.
Now, being at TBN, being backstage with Joel, being backstage with a guy named John Bevere, being backstage with others and meeting, and I don't know. Look, when someone says to me, God wants you to go to Africa and be a missionary. God wants you to be a preacher. Well, let God tell me. Let God tell me. Hey, I want to say something. Can we go back to me? Can you come in on me? Can you just, do you see this line on my head? That doesn't exist except when I do this show. And I just think about the line across the picture in The Omen. Is this a sign of something that's coming for me? That doesn't exist. Can you see the line on my head? What is that? If you have a theory, let me know. So anyway, my demonically possessed brother who dabbled in the occult, tarot cards, Ouija boards, stay away from them. If your kids have them, throw that shit out. So when I was with these preachers and I'm with people that they call prophets in the Christian church, they say, oh, you've got so much to do. You've got so much that you haven't done. They can feel it. John Bevere, you either like him or you don't. I've seen him one time, but I was driving across America and my friend Kevin Mullins invited me, and he doesn't know me and I don't know John Bevere. He's a TV preacher out of the South, and it's a great service, and I'm leaving. He goes, hey, wait a minute, you're Mancow Muller. God is talking. You got more to do, son. My point is, the devil's been after me because I got more to do. And I've had many chances to sell out. I love when people say, oh, you sold out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I sell out every place I've ever been. I sell out every arena. I sold out every country club, every comedy club, every event, everything. Yes, I sell out. But I've never sold you people out. The one sellout thing I did was, and it worked, natural penis pills the last year at WLS because they were broke. And I used the product. It's fine. My wife appreciated it, I guess. But I wouldn't have done that in the years gone by. But that's it. I never advertised a product I didn't like. I got offered $2.5 million for the name Mancow. I think I can say it. I believe that's what Jimmy DeCastro offered me. I said, no. And Jimmy's fine. I'm not the same. But I'm just saying, I had chances. I never did it. You can be Joe Rogan. You can be Howard Stern. What's your cost? What's your soul worth? So the exorcist that I was part of, the preacher said, you got to get out of here. It became all about me. My brother, who I believe is still under demonic control. And boy, he loves quoting the Bible. He loves quoting the Bible. He'll sell you something, quote the Bible. Be careful. Remember, I've had a lot of psychics on my show. Well, I can quote the Bible. Yeah, so can Satan. Psychics, Wiccans. I'm an energy worker. I work with good. Satan was the angel of light. You ever hear that from these people, these witches? Oh, I work with light. Sometime I want to tell you about when I hired a witch. I hired a witch to work in my inner circle. What a nightmare that was. That's for a future show. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. This is the biggest story I've ever told you. I got the guy who witnessed it right here. So I'm staying in the suburbs of San Diego. One of my interns, I'll call him Christopher, is offered a full-fledged, full-run, full-pay, go to New Zealand and work at Weta and work on the Lord of the Rings and the Jedi movies. And he was, well, anyway, that's a heartbreak because I'll go. I would have gone. And his family, well, you won't leave home. I don't know if you, go. Yeah, go to New Zealand and work on Lord of the Rings movies. And we'll pay you. And we'll take care of you. We'll teach you. I made up a name for him. And the mom goes, well, what's he going to, he's a kid from the south side of Chicago. What's going to happen to him in the south side of Chicago? You're not his mother. Shut up. And I think of that song, Roger Waters, Mama. You know, singing about mama. Yeah, I have a mama. I have a mama. Yeah. Yeah. I have a mother too. I'll tell that story sometime too.
Mancow, do you remember the phone call I made to you from Santa Barbara?
David.
Yes.
Hang on. I'm sorry I got verbose here. But look, folks, the devil will use people close to you to hurt you. You can love and respect your family. There's no pain like family pain. But if they want to steal from you and hurt you, and I got that too, right? Insulting my sexuality, and you're fat, and I can't say any of these words, but words we said when we were kids. And I'm a flaming heterosexual, but everything was questioned. We're keeping it real. No. You want to keep me beat down. You want to keep me low. You want to steal from me because you're jealous. David, can you relate to what I'm saying?
You know I can, Mancow.
Okay.
You know my story.
Yeah, so this is my story. This is my song. So bring it back to me, Nudie. Thank you. Let me wrap it up. Can you imagine a mother that would steal from you? What do you do? Can you imagine this? I'm not talking about me, of course. No. Can you imagine a brother that would steal from you? Can you imagine that would clear out your bank accounts? No, I'm not talking about me. And then a mother that would say, well, you've got money. You've had fame. Your poor brother. You're the bad guy because you got up every morning at 2:30 and worked. Can you imagine such a thing? I'm sure you can't. Listen, you want to be famous? You want to be successful? If you are, right now, there's a cost, right? But I wasn't willing to give my soul, and I never sold out. So I got yelled at because I got this young intern out of Chicago, a gig working the Lord of the Rings movies. Turns out they were very fond of me, my work in New Zealand, listening to it on the internet. I had quite a following. So I got yelled at, and I was upset, and I left this house. Now, I had seen the shapeshifter, the demonic stuff the night before. I had seen the mockery of Christ. You realize that pornography is, and some of this hardcore pornography is, everything satanic is a mockery of Jesus. So everything that God creates, the satanic version of it is creepy and abomination. You understand all this? So it's kind of like, is it Harvey Dent that has the coin Two-Face? It's kind of two sides of a coin. So everything beautiful that God has made, there's a satanic, creepy version of it. Anything you see that's beautiful, right? There's beautiful music. So then there's Dave Mustaine has talked about the music that is made with the devil's chords. So I say, David X, who's staying nearby, David, I got to get out of this house. I got to get some fresh air. And I'm going to let David take over. We go for a walk, and we're walking around suburbia, and what happens?
Look, the evil comes out of the woodwork. I mean, it literally comes out of the woodwork. It pursues you. It senses you. It wants to take you out because there is a beacon of light that comes out of people who are awake.
Wow.
Not woke. Not woke, but awake. Woke is the opposite. Woke is upside down. Their heads are planted in the darkness. Awake, we are awake and they are aware of us. And there's so much of this story. I just want to remind you, though, Mancow, of the phone call I made to you from Santa Barbara. I said, Mancow, you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. I'm walking down State Street with my 4-year-old son, crossing the railroad tracks. I look down the railroad tracks, and I see this shadow coming down the railroad tracks from a far distance. Something told me, shift your son to the right side, to your left side of your body. I had him on my right hand. As soon as I did that, this shadow appeared as a 3-foot-tall being walking next to me with white hair, gigantic round eyes, teeth that were sharpened like shark's teeth. And it looks up at me and it says to me, do you remember what I'm telling you, Mancow?
I remember I was laughing because you made it sound like a little midget with, a little person with shark's teeth looked up at you.
It says to me, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. How are you? This is what he said to me. Oh, I've been in hell all day and I'm bored. As I looked at my son, I looked back at him and he says to me, and I can't wait to piss on your grave. And I looked again at my son, and that second, this thing was gone. It vanished.
David, and then you and I in the same thing happened. It was a different thing. But wasn't that the same thing that happened to us when we were walking through the San Diego? The guy crossed the street, we'll piss on your grave?
Yes. They're there. They are legion. They're everywhere.
Guys, I married so well. I'm so blessed. And I just think about some of the dummies I could have been with. Some of the beautiful women, but with darkness in them. And this is men too. But I've always felt it. I felt it. The light in me isn't working with the darkness in other people. Stargates, Our Hollow Earth, Admiral Byrd, alien human hybrids, all coming up. I'm sorry I got off track, folks, but I think it was worthy. So, my friend Mike Schwimmer, Windy City Novelties, is just loves the movies, has all the props, love the TV show Stargate. I never really could get into it, although I did like the movie with Kurt Russell. Are there Stargates, David?
Of course there are. And there's one adjacent to Area 51 in Nevada. There is a Stargate there. You can see it on Google Earth. And it is real. Now, the question is, where does it go? That's the question. And what have they brought through the Stargate? Now, the question also goes to, if we have an exchange program with beings from other worlds, other realms, why use spaceships? Why use craft to shuttle us back and forth? We don't need them anymore, to be honest with you. We've got these technologies that allow us, and they gave them to us, by the way. I mean, what do you think that these movies like Stargate, the one with Kurt Russell, what do you think those movies are really for? They are to desensitize us to these ideas. That's really what they're about. E.T., Steven Spielberg. There you go. There's a picture of it right there. There's Area 51.
Oh, Area 51.
Yeah, there's Area 51. It is adjacent to Area 51. Okay. And
David,
they use
someone's asking
technology, by the way. Yeah.
Someone's asking, how do I know you're legit? Because I've known him for many years. It goes back to my friendship with Art Bell, Malachi Martin, and David Icke and others. And I can't give you the full history, but David is legit and has been involved with this subject and many others for many years. And I've known him. How long have I known you, David?
We've known each other at least 15 years, minimum.
Yeah. I talked about being in New York. David was not with me, but he did join me shortly after, where I was with Malachi Martin. If you don't know who Malachi Martin is, do I have time? Hold on, guys. Well, I'll let David talk. David, I'll give you another question. I'll let you talk. I'm going to go to the bookshelf and find something. I want to find Hostage to the Devil.
Yes.
Will you remind me of that? Hold before I get to that. Misfits Walk Among Us. Yeah, I'm one of them. I talked to Jerry Only today. I love Glenn. I saw Glenn's movie 1 week ago. After the show, yes, I would see Glenn Danzig's movie, the vampire movie. It is so horrible. It's horrible. I enjoyed it. It's so bad. It's not, something so bad it's good. It's not even that. It's so bad it's bad. But anyway, Misfits, I go where eagles dare. And you better believe it. That's where I fly, baby. And They Live. Yes. John Carpenter. I went to Prosecco and then over to my restaurant, Marquesa, downtown Chicago, the most beautiful restaurant in Illinois. And John Carpenter and I were talking about all kinds of movies. He was telling me about Kurt Russell. And he said, They Live was prophecy. Mm-hmm. You know it's true.
Yes.
He said to me, we're smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke. He was smoking. He goes, and I thought he hated me. I was with Kane Hodder, Aaron Gray, who played Wilma Deering on Buck Rogers, and I was with Bruce Campbell, lead with the chin, Bruce Campbell from the Evil Dead movies. And I thought Carpenter hated me. And he goes, come on, kid, come on. You hate me. I thought he hated me, wouldn't talk to me. Comes up, I got those actors. I got to get away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a gristle old guy, and he says, I had to do it when I was young because why don't you do movies? That's a young man's job. And I told him how much I love The Thing. And he said, Kurt Russell. There's They Live. He said, Kurt Russell, I wrote The Thing. I directed The Thing. I did the music. I've got, we're shooting on an ice floe. I'm losing my light, whatever light I have. The ground is shifting because we're on shifting ice. And I go in and I'm freezing my ass off. I go into Kurt Russell's trailer and I say, Kurt, come on, we got like 2 minutes. Kurt, come on. He goes, that's why I don't want to sit inside with all those actors. He goes, you I want to talk to. Tell me about yourself. I told about myself anyway. And then we talked about They Live. John, look, brother. They Live, if you don't know the movie, my friend Rowdy Roddy Piper, come to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And there's some comedy and it's silly. But yes, consume. Remember the terrorists attack us? And George Bush said, well, the best thing you can do is spend money. Go ahead and spend money or the terrorists win. What? How about China denying us our chips for our cars right now? Do you know, I wanted, if you can help me with this, please let me know. I wanted to buy a Ford Bronco. They said 2-year wait, or this is Petty John Motors out of Missouri. Nice guys. Or maybe we could find one $5,000-$10,000 over a sticker. I said, that'll be the day I pay $10,000 over a sticker for a freaking Ford. I used to be a Ford dealer before I was ripped off. I got to be quiet. Yeah, They Live. Prophecy, folks. Consume, reproduce, keep your kids stupid, turn on the TV. I had someone contact me, maybe you saw it on Instagram. Mancow, what's wrong with movies, with all Chinese characters? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with Marvel turning, the characters, changing the characters? And who cares if the whole Marvel universe is Chinese? You don't have a problem with the Chinese, do you? It's a setup. I've done this for a long time. It's a setup. I don't have any problem with Chinese. I've been to China several times. I go to Japan 4 times a year when there's not some phony baloney made up restrictions that I can't talk about or they'll pull me. I don't have any problem with the Chinese, but I hate the Chinese Communist government. Do you love? Stop Asian hate. There isn't one person in America that I know of that I've ever met that hates Asians. But isn't that something? The Chinese media controlling our media, our internet, our movies. Marvel. Why do you think Marvel has to have a Chinese guy? Oh, and by the way, they cut out people who look like me and you when the movie airs in China so that they can have the Chinese guy be the bigger hero of the movie. Do you know this? Do you know that we can't have movies with Jesus Christ or the flag anymore because China hates us and they hate our God? They're godless. Oh, that's Asian hate. Oh, Mancow, what are you doing? I'm sorry. The new Marvel movie, which has been created by the Chinese censors, or they've censored it. Folks, your Chinese masters don't give 2 shits about you. And by the way, is it called Foxconn? Foxconn over here in Wisconsin? Talk to any black person from anywhere on earth. Forget American black, folks. Black from anywhere on earth. African, Jamaican, whatever you want to say. Find out how not the Japanese, the Chinese, find out how they get treated. Find out how the women get treated. Find out how babies get treated. You're worried about hurting the Chinese. Oh, Mancow, the new Marvel movies really kicks ass. You don't have Asian hate, do you? It's a setup. I don't have any problem with Asians. I don't care where you're from. I don't have problems with people. I traveled the world, numbnuts. But these communists, this is all about eugenics and communism. That's what we're suffering right now. Have you been out to eat? Oh, we're short-staffed. Nobody wants to work. Why? And the shutdowns are coming. Why? Wake up! They want to destroy all the businesses. They want you in the government tent. They want you sitting at home sucking on welfare. They want all these mom and pops closed. Put your muzzle on. Shut up. Stay 6 feet away so you can't talk to each other. So you can't say, wow, isn't this shitty? Can you believe this in America? Stay 6 feet apart and don't shut up. And then you see the businesses being shuttered in your hometown, USA? Man, what's your problem with the Chinese? Yeah, you have Asian hate? Oh. Yeah, you can shove the communist government. David, other dimensions. I'm going to get up, take it off me for a second here, Nudie. I want to find this book to show people. I want to talk about Malachi Martin and Art Bell. David also, under different names, has written episodes of X-Files, but we can't talk. You don't want me to talk about that. All right, but let's go to, are we able to interdimension travel? I talked about the hydrogen super collider, all this stuff. Our interdimensional travel, David X.
Yes, of course we can. And interdimensional travel is based on Tesla technology, by the way. And the question, though, is, and I listen, I know of experiments that were done with people who did enter into the other dimensions. However, you have to go there very carefully because you can be torn apart in those other dimensions. We aren't designed to exist in those other dimensions, but I'm going to tell you something. There are other things that are things that you don't want to have any encounters with. And those things sometimes show up in people's bedrooms. Those are things that people call hauntings and paranormal. And if you see shows that are recorded now where people have their security cameras and they catch these strange things that are traveling through their yards and even poltergeist activity, these are things that live in these other dimensions. These are things that you don't want to have encounters with because those things can also occupy you because you are another dimension. You didn't think about that, did you, when you started messing? People that messed with Ouija boards, people that messed with evil, you don't think about it when you think it's fun. That's exactly what they want you to think. But it's not. It's very dangerous. And you become a transporter for these creatures, whatever
I
they
was
may
at
be.
Jack Frank's. I was at Jack Frank's house. He's a local politician. People would know. And the kids were playing with the Ouija board. And I told this story and I went over and took it. And I'm telling you, there was hundreds of people there. And these kids were playing with this Ouija board. My daughters were looking. And I went, oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Call the witch board. You can contact demons. And I went and I took it. And nobody, the teenagers didn't see it. No, it was supernatural. Nobody saw it. I took it right in the middle of the party. And I went, bam. I threw the trash. Nobody saw it. Everybody was in a daze. It was bizarre.
Wow.
And I thought, well, I don't care if Jack is pissed at me. I don't care if anyone's pissed at me. I'm not, my little girls are not going to sit here with a Ouija board. And I did it. I felt very self-righteous probably. And I broke it and nobody reacted. Nobody ever said anything. David, look, you answered, but you didn't answer.
Yeah.
Are there people in the military and the government that are able to go into another dimension? And then I want to talk about time travel. Are we able to time travel? I've talked to very convincing people on the radio. I'm sure many people remember some of these calls I took. What's the camera where you can film in the past that they were able to film in the past? George Washington's got visited the night before by time travelers, maybe angels. You can read that.
Yes.
And then, of course, many people believe that Spielberg's movie Lincoln, that they have not rotoscope, but it's got a name, chronovisor.
Mm-hmm.
That through the chronovisor they were able to that this movie Lincoln that Spielberg did, that Spielberg was shown Lincoln, that in our government we have actual footage of him that's never been released, and that is exact. That's how he talked. That's what he said, and then, of course, these time travelers that I've spoken with went into our future, and we all looked exactly the same. We were short and bald, and we all wore the same kind of outfits. So maybe that's what they're genetically engineering us for. So these Stargates, are we able to go to other planets? Are we able to go to other dimensions? What are we finding there, David?
Absolutely. I mean, we're finding technology. The problem is, though, is that in other dimensions, there are other dimensional properties that are attached. And you have to figure out how to back engineer them to bring them back into this realm. Now, you might think that a lot of the UFOs that they have in this realm, in this dimension, have been back engineered from other dimensional technologies, because how does something that you ask the question logically, how does something go from 0 to 5,000 miles an hour in 1 second? There are other properties involved. So you can't, and there's no human being that can withstand the physics of that. Okay. They're trying to engineer us to be able to live in these other dimensions, but you're no longer human if that happens. You can't do that. Now, and you can move through time. Time is, you can go forward and backward through time. There's absolutely no doubt about that. They're just now beginning to perfect the technology to do that. But the problem that we have, there it is. There's a Stargate. Do you have a picture of the one that I sent you? It's actually got grids, Ralph. It's got all these different grids, and it shows the patterns. It almost looks like a schematic. It's amazing, but the technology is there for us to be able to do it. Yes.
Was it Edgar Casey that talked about how time was a loop?
Yep.
We're told often in the Bible that God doesn't, God sees everything at once. There's no.
Yes.
Right. Guys, I also want to say the past is a trap. There's nothing you can do about it. Why didn't I say this? Why did I do that? Why didn't I take the job? My father was the mayor of Lakehurst, New Jersey, where the Hindenburg went down, and I was offered a job by Bally's, B-A-L-L-Y-S, hotels and casinos and everything, to be I was the highest testing guy they ever had in the history of the company, to fly blimps, and at the same time was offered a job at radio Q104 in Kansas City, and I always wonder what would have happened. Let me, I want to tell you, can you just hand me a picture of it and I'll hold your phone up? Hostage to the devil. Malachi Martin, I've talked about him quickly. He was someone that that's not the cover, but that'll work. Hostage to the devil. That's just, see if you can find a copy of the book. It's like gargoyles. I've bought it eight times, maybe 11 times, and I've thrown it away. I don't want it in my house. I thought I had a copy at this point, but I don't. Maybe it's somewhere back there. Yeah, that's the cover. But Malachi Martin. Can I hold this for a second? I was with him in New York. I told you, and he'd just seen Sean Hannity. And we walked down New York, and I said, he said Bill Clinton was perfectly possessed.
Yeah.
He also believed that Obama was perfectly possessed. In other words, the guys that are, the Linda Blairs, those are imperfect possessions. Those are low-level demons. Okay? Anyway, Malachi Martin said something in Latin, and a guy in a suit basically got down on all fours and scurried off. It is the most frightening book you've ever read. If you are not Christian, if you do not believe in Jesus Christ, do not read this book. Thank you. The Exorcist. I dated Linda Blair. There's William Peter Blatt. He wrote me a lovely note. He was a friend of mine, and he was very concerned that Satanists had taken over the White House. Next week, Bill Weiss went to hell. We're going to have the most incredible video of what hell is really like. 1 week from tonight, 23 Minutes in Hell. And what movie captures hell? What movie does Bill believe? And I'll tell my story about encountering this writer. What movie does Bill believe they really were connected to the demonic? I wonder if I should say the writer's name. We'll save it for next week. And then finally, this is a guest we're going to have on. This is about Frank Zappa, Jim Morrison. His father was a military bigwig. The base that's in the mountains, Lookout Mountain. This is all Laurel Canyon and the connection to the military and how they wanted to disqualify and discredit the hippies and how Satanism was involved. So if you like the music of Joni Mitchell, the Eagles, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, I think the Monkees show up. One of the most fascinating connections this guy makes, and we're going to be having him on as well. All right. Hostage to the devil. So Malachi Martin goes, blah, 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 something in Latin, and a guy in a suit goes, and scurries down the street. He says they're all around us. Our guest, David X, says alien human hybrids are all around us. Satanically possessed people are all around us. And notice how your church, as I said, tight jeans and fog machines, very motivational, but not a lot of Jesus. And when your Catholic Church starts mentioning light, you know that that they're replacing Jesus with the word light, and Satan was the god of light. Okay. Area 51. Interdimensional travel happens out of there, David. Is that what you were saying?
Yes. And we can go to other realms, and we can also project into other dimensions and other planets. We can go to other planets very, very far away. If you look at a laser, you see the way a laser works?
Yes.
Yes. And you can point a laser millions, billions of miles into space, right?
I want to see more of these.
The same exact thing is true with these focused energy machines that allow us to create a tunnel through time and space You don't even have to fold space. You actually can make a tunnel through it if you have the right energy and the right vibrations.
Where would you go?
Oh man, I would probably go to Zeta Reticuli.
I would go to see the Doors at the Whiskey A Go-Go. I would want to go to the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I'd like to see Elvis in 1977. I've thought about this a lot.
Wow.
I'd like to hang out with my dad as a kid. Yeah. Look, I'm getting messages about this, and folks, message me. If you noticed, I respond to every message within reason. Where's Turd? Turd is a trash man. He's got a sweet government gig, and he's making a ton of money. He's got a great retirement. Okay, he lived happily ever after. All right, that's the guy who used to work for me. All right, let's talk about because people are asking me about this. These towers found on Mars that they're talking about now, 3 mile high towers. What are those all about, David X?
Well, there was a advanced civilization on Mars for millions of years, and there was a war there, and most of Mars was destroyed in this war. And of course, there are still remnants of life left on Mars. They don't want you to know that, by the way. And here's the problem, and you can see it right now with the current Catholic Pope. This guy just ordained a Chinese communist pope for China. So we're moving toward a dark view of the universe, and it's not a God-based view. And I believe, and I think that there are many people who concur with this, that there were people who had very strong religious faith, just like we have on Earth, those of us who believe in a higher power. Everywhere you go in the universe, you will find people who believe in beings, who believe in the higher power. Everybody understands creation does not exist without a creator. And but the dark force wants to eliminate every remnant of people who have consciousness and therefore light emanating from them.
David, did you see when I had the head of the Church of Satan, one of the churches? Did you see that?
I don't know if I saw that, Mancow. Was probably yeah. No, I've seen this guy though.
No, I just ended the show. You know, there's so much evil. There's so much evil. I used to find it interesting, like when everything on TV, everything's mocking Christ and God, and you know, do you love, folks? Have you heard this? China won't allow any feminized sissy men on TV.
Yeah.
And yet, when America needs a man, when we need a man, who do we go to? Russell Crowe, the guy that played the machine gun preacher. What was his name? Yeah. Anyway, we go to other countries. Our actors are all sissy boys. Not supposed to say that, am I? Do you know Corey Good?
Corey Good was listen, this guy has been inside the alien city underneath, 2 miles underneath the ice in Antarctica. He has witnessed.
Friends with him?
I know him.
Okay. So, look, I talked about this. It made the paper. And of course, I've talked about this too. There's a whole underground city in Chicago. Rahm Emanuel could take the road out of town. There's no stoplights. It's, I believe, 7 lanes, 6 or 7 lanes. And there's a whole lot going on down there. So the elite can escape if anything ever happens. Can you come over here so that I can see new comments? How do I do this? It says new comments. I'll tell you when we're off, but I'd like to see more comments from people. There's missing a lot. Wait, go back. I want to see it missing a lot of truth here. Starting to feel like Rogan. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm getting out as much as I can here. West Fee. We're doing the best we can. I'm an Air Force security guard in nuclear sites. Never saw anything. Well, maybe it wasn't going on there. I mean, it's not the Deep Tunnel Project. Absolutely, Nick. Thank you. I never saw. I've been there. I never saw an alien. Well, tough shit. Sorry, I never saw someone possessed. Well, I'm good. This is a NASA whistleblower. I believe I interviewed him several times. Saw an alien city. What did he say?
He saw technology. He saw pyramids. He saw as aircraft, spacecraft. He saw time travel devices. But here's the thing. Don't take my word for it. Just go ahead and search on any search engine. Areas beneath the Antarctic ice an ambient 72 degrees. Now, you answer this. How do you have caverns in Antarctica, 2 miles under the ice, that are 72 degrees? Huge caverns, okay?
And what about Admiral Byrd? What did he see? I mean, he talked about it, correct?
Admiral Byrd had warfare with flying discs. He had, and the Nazis were involved with the alien technology there in Antarctica. The Nazis were involved. They formed an alliance with the extraterrestrial beings, whatever they are, whichever version of them they are there. They formed an alliance with them. They are exactly aligned philosophically and everything.
Alex Jones for president. I love that. Doc Mack. I love Doc Mack from the arcade. And I think I could get a little bigger job than Sheriff. I got some big updates coming up. And Nudie, I'm just looking here, President Biden is great. Just block him. Who gives a shit? Again, that's the same thing. In the old days, I would have humored him. If you're that, Biden won. You're too stupid for our time.
Biden's perfectly possessed, and so are the people that follow him, Mancow. You know that.
Oh, come on. He left these kids behind. Look at our gas prices. And I mean, if you're supporting Biden at this point, I don't want to say who it is because he's got one of the popular shows on Fox, and I got some stuff coming up. I don't want to destroy that relationship, but what are you doing flying with President Bush? What are you doing? Why is it okay now that he has a tax raise when you didn't like it from the last idiot? I want intellectual honesty. If you didn't like it under Bush, but you love it under Obama, you're a party first sellout. Okay? If you think it's okay to leave behind hundreds of Americas and children to die to those cavemen in Afghanistan, you're a bad person. I don't need to argue with you. If you can't understand that doing what he did in the Middle East and shutting down our pipeline where we were energy independent, you're too stupid for me to talk to. Have you heard anyone say, well, gas prices aren't Biden? He shut down the pipeline, you dumb asshole.
And he gave preference to Russia.
Come on. Oh, well, the next attack, that won't be Biden. Those people just don't like us because we're Christian. Well, you got that right. But do you know they're stronger than 80% of the militaries on Earth now with the equipment that we left behind? Okay? Thank you. Yes, he's a puppet. My point is, when I answer you, please come out and say Biden's great or whatever so I can block you forever. I don't care if anybody watches this. I don't care if anybody follows me on Instagram. Don't you understand, friend? I'm doing this to help people. And I'm not going to wake someone that's that stupid. You're part of the problem. Goodbye. I don't need you. I don't want you. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You're lost. It's over. You were the guy that would have been standing there going, I think English are okay. We don't need to fight the English.
Listen, Mancow, I'm going to say it here. The deep red patriot movement that's moving through the underground has said that Biden knew what he was doing when he abandoned Afghanistan with $90 billion in military equipment. They said he intentionally became he made America the number one state sponsor of terror in the world because that is a satanic thing. He wants Americans sacrificed. You think about it. I saw on the news today, they're going through hunting for Americans. They're murdering the families of Afghani translators and their families. They're making the translator go home. They're murdering their children, their wife.
Do you think all of this? Look, I do believe these people are dark satanic people. Do you believe all of this and the abortion is all about satanic sacrifice?
Of course it is. They've come out and admitted
everything that Epstein was doing.
They've come out and admitted it. They know that they knew it all along. And the people who are stupid enough to think it's a choice. Well, what about the jab? What about that? Is that a choice?
Teresa says the Dems would walk into a gas chamber if the mainstream media told them it's for their health. Absolutely. Look at the money that's being exchanged. Look at what's going on. Look at the lies. Look at just the basics. And that's what's being reported against heavy censorship. 9/11. Do you think something big's coming on 9/11? I think they're well armed. I'm running out of time. Let's talk about we saw him in the last horrible Indiana Jones movie. They're filming one now. Hey, did you see ABBA has a new album coming out for the first time in 40 years?
Are you kidding? That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love it.
We need a little Swedish pop right now. Listen, the elongated skulls. We saw them in the last Indiana Jones movie. What are they?
They're human hybrids. They're alien human hybrids. They were the master race on this planet 5,000 years ago. There are many of them from where my beautiful wife comes from in Peru. They've found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. They are more intelligent. Their skulls are 25% bigger than the average human skull. There is no satchel suture on many of these, most of them, as a matter of fact. Yeah. How were they born? They weren't born. They were manufactured.
Yeah. I wish we would have had some of them in Joliet, because that genetic pool there is weak. Are we Johnny Appleseed DNA dripped off here on our planet? Or do you think we were seeded? I mean, I believe in the Bible, so I guess not.
Okay, but here's the thing. Let's talk Bible for a moment. The scientific community understands that there have been humanoid beings here on this planet for millions of years. The Vatican, for whatever reason, does not want us to understand the deeper mysteries of the human race. They want to have a 6,000-year-old worldview, which limits our understanding, which limits our ability to comprehend the nature of the human species on this planet. Why? Because the Adam and Eve story is, they want it to be limited to that so that they can control it from a biblical perspective, but there's more to it. There have been beings visiting Earth for many, many thousands.
Are they getting us ready for? Are they getting us ready for a reveal coming up? I mean, I keep hearing this, but
well, yes, but they don't think we're ready for it yet.
And what about these skulls being the Nephilim, the giants?
Okay, well, Planet X, as you heard, the ninth planet, the 10th planet, whatever you want to call it, it comes around every 3,600 years. The astronomers know about it. They've been tracking it. And if you look at the book of Enoch. And it's there. It's all there. The giants came. They violated everything on this planet.
What president met with the Greys? Eisenhower?
I believe it was Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Trump knows about this stuff. Here's the interesting thing, too. Maybe Clinton met with them. Maybe Obama met with them. Listen, there is footage. There's actual footage of UFOs landing at Air Force bases. They've had communications with these things throughout the many, 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 many decades. When in the 1800s, we weren't sophisticated enough to deal with these things yet.
I got a guy here that's trashing Christianity. It's fine, but it all syncs up, brother. It all syncs up. Do I think that Eve talked with a snake? Mancow. See, this is what they do. It's death by paper cuts.
Thank you.
Yes, I do. I believe she talked to an alien or a reptilian.
Yes.
It was a beautiful creature, whatever it was. And it's not here anymore. It may have been part of a race that was here once that died off in the flood. And there were animals here that died off. And the Bible explains all of that. So don't be fooled into hell with flames licking your ass for eternity going, I wish I hadn't trolled Mancow. Christianity they don't want science. It's not true. The guy that discovered AIDS told me I see Jesus every time I look in the microscope.
Wow.
Of course you can have God and science. And by the way, your science right now, I believe in science. Yeah, okay. Yeah. There's no flu or cancer or nobody dies from heart attacks anymore. Look at the numbers. I believe in science. Fauci's my friend. Dumb shit. So I don't have time for this stuff. Our time is short. I mean our time. I don't mean our time. I mean our time is short. You saw the monsters. You saw the horrific creations of man and animals put together. You described them like the James Brolin movie Prophecy. Folks, you can look that up. Someone mentioned Lathe of Heaven. Low budget PBS movie with Bruce Davidson. I highly recommend it. The ideas are huge. Lathe of Heaven. I recommended a book to you. It was called Hostage to the Devil. It's about a real life exorcist who was friends with me and David X. And eventually, by the way, William Friedkin did a movie about his death. He was killed because of an exorcism. He was murdered. Another book I'm going to recommend, we're going to have this guy coming on about Laurel Canyon, the connection to Satanism, and the military connection. And then, of course, I show that just because it was autographed, and isn't that cool? William Friedkin was a friend of mine, as was William Peter Blatty, and he believed that these politicians are perfectly possessed. And then next week, you do not want to miss the footage we're going to have. Will show you what hell really looks like. And we're going to tell you the movie that captured hell. This guy believes that the writer of this movie had satanic connections and went to hell. Or the demons showed him. And I don't want to say Clive Barker because that'll ruin it. We'll save it for next week. I love all your comments. Look at this. The dude is in disguise because he works for the government and he will be murdered. Many people believe I shouldn't do this. And, I love the trolls. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. You don't know about me being, the black helicopters. Wow, they're all true. Remember that? Oh, man, because black helicopters. Okay. I've been to Bohemian Grove. I've been asked to join the Council of Foreign Relations. I was put in a government vehicle, and everything I've said ever was played for me. My whole crew went through it. Some people are saying that Trump is, that they've got enough information that Trump will be back, will be reinstalled in office. I don't believe that, but interesting. DeSantis, boy, are they going after him in Florida, huh? I've got some big announcements coming up. And again, next week, 23 minutes in hell. David, anything else?
Man, you and I, we could talk forever. You know that. I just want to say, though, that we are not dealing with flesh and blood. We're dealing with these forces, as the Bible describes it, principalities and powers. I do believe that our President Biden is perfectly possessed. You can see it. Somebody has to tell him each step to take. He no longer has a human soul. That soul disappeared a long time ago. He sold his soul to the devil. The devil owns him and his family. And people within the deep red state understand that. I mean, people that I work with every day are trying to find a way to purge. They're trying to purge the military of Christians.
Do you remember the Democratic convention where they booed God?
Oh, yes, I do.
That was Obama.
Yes.
I mean, someone asked this, and of course, little liar writing there, little red line
off their party platform.
The press secretary, right? This mouthpiece, Jen Psaki, or whatever her name is. How I've always wondered about this. Judge Claire McWilliams here is a friend of mine, and these are good Catholics, and yet late-term abortion.
Satanic right. And they've confessed it. They don't have to hide anymore, Mancow. You know that. No. They're out in the open. And
evil is decloaked. Guys,
have you seen Little Nas X dancing naked in a prison cell with other men? Have you seen his video?
No, but I'd like to.
The devil doesn't want to hide anymore. He's got a big, huge following. What's the point of hiding it anymore? They're all in with it.
Lady Gaga was fun to watch. Look up Lady Gaga. Look up Spirit Cooking if you haven't done this. Lady Gaga Spirit Cooking. Who's the other one that's into all this? They're all, Madonna and the satanic imagery. Madonna, who cares anymore? But look, Jesus does love you very much. He loves all of us. Let's say goodbye to David X and thank him. I ask you if you want to, please, they tell me this is important. I don't care about any of this, but if you do, if you want to help me, it's up to you. But please go to mancow.net. Is that what you want people to go to? MANCOW, mancow.net. And I guess when you like this stuff and you sign up and you share it and all that, it's good for me. Yeah, share this live broadcast. This is what they're telling me is very important. Again, I don't do this for ratings or money. I do this because I love you guys. You have fed me and my family, and I took it to be very sacred being your audio wallpaper. Like I said, this is the lion's den. And what do they do to the Christians? They throw them to the lions. There's a reason they're building camps. There's a reason prisons are sitting empty. There's a reason there's so many false flag scenarios happening right now before us. There's a reason for the constant propaganda, and there's a reason for the eugenics. They are actively trying to shorten our lives. There's a reason that China won't allow feminized men on TV anymore, but we can't have masculine men. Our new masters don't want us to be drug-free. They don't want us to love God. They hate God, the communists. They want the government as your God, like the Democrats. Lord Jesus, I love you so much. Thank you for your sacrifice on the cross. I ask you to bless all these people. I am a failure. I am a sinner. Skeletons, I have a whole skeletons. I have a whole graveyard. I am far from perfect. Can I do an aside during a prayer? I'm at Costco, and it's a 4-way stop. And sorry. I started to go. Oh, sorry. And this woman goes as slow as she can and looks over. You love that? I stopped and said, go. I'm sorry. Please, I'm sorry. It was your turn. Go. That face, that North Shore face these women have. And I said to my wife, I'm going to follow her car and tell her what a piece of shit she is. Oh, I'm sure Jesus would appreciate that. Yeah. Imagine how I'd be if I didn't have Christ. Not easy. These are tough days, the days of the closed hand, the days when you're going to have to fight. Hope you're ready. Get ready. Let's get back to the prayer. God, I pray for a hedge of protection around these people. I pray that our children are blessed. Keep the evil away from our children. I want all the militia of love to be blessed. May they be blessed so that they can help others. May we all be a light in this incredibly dark time. Amen. Next week, if you have someone that doesn't believe, you may save them. We're taking you to hell next week.